Today we're going to be working on another one of our fall projects. This one has a lantern with some decorative fall branches and leaves around it. Let's get started. Okay, the first one that this one needs, all of these tiny pieces, remember, have heat and bond light on the back of them, so they're all ironed down. But this bigger piece does not. And I pulled out all of my black. This is a black that is dyed, not mill dyed, but hand dyed, and it had a kind of a brownish base to it. So I wasn't sure which one of my black ones I would like the most on it. I don't know. Let's try this guy. Kind of hard to find the end sometimes. If I like that slightly brown one. I couldn't tell with the plastic on them which ones were what color, so, or just this black one. I think I like the brownie black one. Let's use that one. Now, the first thing I'm going to tack down on this one is around the inside of that square, because I don't want to pull too far to the outside. Let me find if I have a smaller needle. I would prefer a 24 to do this. Yeah, there we go. There's a 24. Okay. 24 will make ample big enough holes for a wool applique thread to go through, but not so big that it might twist things a little bit, and that's what I want to avoid here. So let's come out right over here near the corner, and the job of my thumb on this one is to hold it down so that it doesn't pull up like that. Did you see that? How that will pull up and give me a distorted shape right there. And it's something I'll have to watch every time I'm coming back to the front, like this part of the stitch right here where I come back up. That will be an easy place that you can distort that as you are going along. Would help if I had another pin in there, however. I don't know where I have. Last night when I was pinning these guys down, I looked in all of the armchairs, or the arms of all the chairs that I have appliqued in recently and gathered up all the pins. But I pinned down, I think 11 little projects like this last night. And so I ran out of pins. So it gets 2, and that's all it gets. Okay, let's go down this side. Same thing, I gotta watch. This thumb's job is to keep that from sticking out. And now that I've got that one done, I'm gonna move this one to here, and I'll show you the concern I have. Sometimes putting the pin in makes it worse, because the pins, applique pins are great because they're small, they're short, and they're thin, and so they don't give you as much trouble distorting things, but still on something that thin, it can easily distort it. Pulled through an extra thread there. Okay, let's see. If we can go down this side. Oh, that little guy is coming loose. I might have to heat him up. I'm not worried about him because I'm gonna, like if you watched our pumpkin one, I'm gonna tack them down with, see how it's kind of weaving right there, or turning, making it not straight? That's the concern with that pin, because I want this line to stay straight. So watch it closely. Whenever you're doing thin lines like that, you got to watch them close to make sure that they stay straight. I don't know if you can hear, I don't know how much of the background you pick up. Our next door neighbors are, we built this home during 2025, and we're all getting our landscaping put in this summer, and the people next to us have a great big backhoe. Woke us up this morning. They had asked if they could go across our backyard to get it in because it's their property's kind of tighter up against their house on the sides, and ours isn't. And so, yeah, they woke us up driving a backhoe through our backyard this morning. To be fair, it wasn't that early, but yeah. They're using it to take out a tree. It's a dead tree, big dead tree in their backyard. Probably 30 plus feet tall. I'm guessing that the backhoe is the tool that the landscapers have, so that's what they're using to take it down with. So it's kind of loud out there right now. I'm doing some stabity stitching, some up and down right here, because I feel like when I try to take it to the back and then back to the front, that I am separating them enough that it's that my line will, especially right here where I've got the candle and the background. You can see that the background has a glow to it. Well, it's designed to be the color that will look like a glow. So and it might have shifted since I put it down because it's supposed to be under there about 1/16 of an inch. Okay. There, let's get that little extra snip out of the bottom. Now let's look at this side. You see how it's kind of trying to scooch out here? I don't want it to. I need it to be back where it's supposed to go. So I'll probably continue stabity stitching for a little bit here to put those stitches where they're supposed to be. I think what I will do to hold these guys down is turn on my iron now, so that after I'm done appliquing that down, it'll be hot and I can tack them in place better. Yeah, there we go. Remember, that thumb's job is to make sure it holds it in the right spot when you're working on something this thin, this important to get straight when the pins can't do the job because of the size. You may not tear off that leaf. Oh, it'll catch the black behind it, so we're okay. Okay, that's looking good. So it turns out if I come out further out, instead of trying to make a tiny, tiny stitch to come out in the more closer to the middle of the black as I'm doing it, that gives me enough, it's easier to go through because I'm only going through the background at that point and not the double layer stuff. Let's see, get you back up there where you belong. It's just barely on top of it. So next time, now I was careful, I tried to do it, make my glow piece just halfway in between the black, and I probably would do that wider next time so that it doesn't give me this much trouble. I don't love the look of the black if it's layered and we can kind of see the glow on the outside, and that's why I cut it smaller, but it's making it tricky. However, we're almost done tacking the inside down. Then we can switch to the outside. Let's do a switcheroo. Okay. Now, the top part of this is back to flipping around, so I'm going to go ahead and tack that down with my pin. And we can go to town on appliquing this. Remember that these applique stitches are supposed to be tiny little whip stitches, and how close you put them is up to you. I used to try and do the applique stitches as close as the distance this stitch was. And I thought I had the tiniest applique stitches. And then I went to a wool applique event, and I looked at the teachers and I went, oh, Hers were about half as big as mine. So I have since then gone shorter. The distance right here is shorter, but I struggle with making them closer. So mine are shorter than they are close. As far as close, keep it under 1/8 of an inch. That's usually my goal, is just under 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, you sit over here and we'll put you back on in just a minute. Okay, I knew it was a little bit of a risk in in sticking the green background on before, or the green leaf on before I had actually appliqued this down. But I had the rest of them were not touching, so I went ahead and did that guy too, and thought I will work around him in appliquing the black down. I was trying to be efficient. It's taking me longer than I thought. Maybe it wasn't as efficient as I thought. Okay. So these little lines down the side of the lamp are a perfect example of why I choose sometimes to use the heat and bond light. Generally, a spot this small is not, you're not going to have to worry about whether it puffs up, and that's one of the advantages of no adhesive, is that your quilt will puff up better. So, but that small, there's no puffing involved. And they warp with the pins when you pin them down, so it's hard to get them on flat and where you want them if you've got to have a pin in the middle of it. And so that's why those little shapes like that end up with heat and bond light on the back of them. They also, I cut them out with my wool dies, and it's really nice to put the adhesive on the back and then just go ahead and run them through the die machine. It'll spit out however many leaves I have on there, and then I tweak them and I trim them. These two are the same leaf. Can you see how this one's got, this side goes down further and this side waits and then goes up further, so it's kind of a wonky leaf. And this is that same leaf, but I trimmed it so it's not as wonky. I kind of cut the tip off right here. So it was still easier to run it through the die machine and trim it than it was to just cut out a tiny little one like that. All right, we got the same situation here. I have ironed the white down. It just barely covers it. So I just need to work in between it, but those petals are so thin that that won't be a problem. I can just tack it down around those guys. All right, now we're back to business. This black wool, I was wondering if it would be too dark if I had it pure black, and so I was looking for something that was a little woodsy black. So if you lay black next to it, then you go, oh yeah, that's not black, it's brownie black. But if you don't, then it might just look black. And that's actually something that you can use to your advantage when you're doing things. Your eyeballs and your brain, your eyeballs send the clue to your brain of what color things are, but your brain interprets it based on things that it knows. And so that's why when you see think of a bluish forest, so it's not really, I mean, those fir trees are often lean to the blue side sometimes, but some of that is just the lighting. But our eyes will still think tree and not think that blue trees is abnormal. So you can, I could have done this in even a dark brown instead, and your mind would still think of it as a black lantern. But there's enough brown in this project that I didn't want to. I wanted to get a unique color for that. Looks like, because of the way that wool applique thread works, that it starts to disintegrate's not really the right word, but the quality goes way down. All right, let's let's tie a knot. If you're wondering why I'm tying the knot using my fingers instead of using the needle and thread, it's because it's short enough with that fraying. Let me show you a cheat code that I have recently learned. When you want the knot to go down right there, you put your needle through the loop. Can you see that? Yeah, put your needle through the loop and put it down right where you want it to go and pull on this end. And that makes the knot stay where it's supposed to. Let me do it again. Not that I would normally tie double knot on this, but okay. So you loop and make your knot, and you take your needle and you put it right through your loop and right where you want that knot to end up. And then you can just pull it down and it will put the knot exactly where you want it. So easy, easier than my old way, which I still thought was easy. Okay, this guy can come out now. Let's get a little bit more of the thread. I should make a social media post about getting your knot in the right spot that way. Okay, where did we leave off? Right here. We'll add some decorative fun to the top of this lantern. And then, did you see the drawing for it? This is the drawing for it. Oh, it's upside down. Well, it's upside down because you know how your phone decides what angle is right side up and it can flip and flip and flip? I do not know how to change it inside of the software that's recording this for me. I tried tipping the phone, and if I tip it a lot, then it flips it the other direction. But as soon as I flip it back to level, it stays this direction. So in fact, I don't even have to have it to level and it comes back to this direction. So I went, okay, well, we're gonna have to watch me stitch upside down. I still think it works. It's as if you were sitting across the table from me instead of looking over my shoulder. Okay, I'm making sure on these stitches up here, as far as how close they are, I'm making sure I tack it down on the spot that sticks the furthest out, the tip. I do that when I'm doing pointed things, hair, fur, anything that's pointed like that. You always want to snag the point and tack it down, because otherwise it's not supported and a little bit flapping in the wind. And I debated when I was designing this one with whether I wanted to do these two little knobs out here. I mean, we're going to do a stitch across the middle of there. I just couldn't decide if I wanted the stitch to be the only thing sticking out or if I wanted the wool behind it. I guess we'll see when I get working on it what we think. Okay, we are almost there. Woohoo! I don't dislike appliquing, but I generally kind of do it in bursts. Like when I said that I'd pinned 11 projects like this, it's because I want to do the applique at a time when I can not worry about having to pay attention and just go to town on applique, applique, applique. And then I'll have projects that I can take with me. I always have projects with me. Then I'll have projects I can take with me ready to go. Okay, that finishes up our, okay, now we gotta think. I can't remember where I took, so I'm not gonna put that back on yet. I do not have, I think we'll use this wool right here. Okay, I do not have my wool pad for ironing, so I can't iron on my table here. I took it, I stole it for other purposes, probably when I was putting these together, but 6 or 8 layers of wool will make an ironing pad, right? Let's go ahead and put that little guy, he goes right here next to this one. And he has his pointy tip down. I don't think it matters in the end, but that is how I drew him on my sketch. Let's get him good and warm. Okay, now I start, now is he stuck? Yeah, now he's stuck down, good. Okay, let's move that so that we can go back to work. I start most of these with the sticks. So that as prepared as I wish I was. Where is my pen? Oh, here it is. It's blue. I should have seen it. Okay. So let's line that up. And let's go ahead and mark where the branches, the twigs, the stitches, or the sticks are. These let's go there, then let's do out to there. That top one is green. Okay, now on this side I have flowers at the base, so I start right here. And those little leaves are orange going out there. And these have little lighter leaves on them also. All right, did we get our marks? Now, one of the dangers with this looser wool, I love this wool. I call it oatmeal. I think some people call it oatmeal cookie, but I call it oatmeal. But one of the dangers with it, and I didn't think about that, is that it does not, it's loose. And because of that, your marks are harder to see. So let's see if we can draw them in so that we can find them. Now I'm going to do that with this right by the side of it so I can see where we're going. Okay, so this goes down, and this goes down, and this goes up. Okay, now when I get to here, that's a branch. Yep. Maybe. All right, let's put it over top of it and see what we got here. Okay, that is a branch. Oh, I missed this one down here. I was like, why do I not have the right amount? I missed that branch right there. Okay, then 2. And then the next 2 is, this one goes up a lot further than this one does. So, and then we still have these guys coming up here. And they go all the way till, let's remark the top one up here. The other option is make sure that you're twisting it when you put it in. And I'm going to go ahead and mark out here. Okay, so I got those guys. That's almost as far as it goes. When I see those guys come out, they go back to here. That goes back to there. All right, now let's place it one more time. Make sure we got that top spot. And while I'm at it, I'm sticking it in, trying to make sure I get a mark there. I'm going to mark the tip of it. Okay, there we go. We were to the end. Okay, so that's that branch. Now this branch starts right here and goes up in between these two. And then that must be one, and that must be one. And then we keep going. Our branch, our main branch is easy on this one. These two little guys have to come back. And this guy, I can see him right here, he comes back to here. And this one is further back, like that. Okay, there we go. Now we've got our branches drawn in, so we can go ahead and stitch those. So let's take the brown. Watch me not be able to find the brown. I can't find the brown. Okay, let's go ahead and do the leaves then. I think I stole the brown. I was hunting for colors for someone, and they were asking about a color. So we're going to go ahead and do leaves first on this one. Okay. There we go. I wonder why it seems dark. Okay, let's go ahead and let's start with this leaf right up here. We are going to do a stitch right down the middle of it, but that's kind of long to stay in one place, so I think I'm going to do a split back stitch. So I'm going to go a third of the way, and then a split back stitch is a back stitch that goes back to just past the tip of it, and because of that, instead of leaving a gap in between the two stitches, it becomes a solid line. It's not perfect because if we were using embroidery floss, it would be better because it would have threads to go down between, whereas in pearl cotton, it has to kind of stab in between the threads. Okay, and then we're going to also back stitch around this leaf. Okay, and that is the stitch that we'll use on most of these leaves. The smaller ones don't need to have the split back stitch down the middle because that's short enough we can just do it in one stitch. Keep wondering what, I guess they're still gathering up stuff from that tree. Last I looked, they still had two main parts of the trunk to take out. And his kind of claw on his backhoe scoop, he does have a little branchy thing on it. But he can't turn it sideways. It just goes, up and down like this. So he kind of gets his vehicle tipped a little bit off to the side, and first he stripped down anything that was sticking out. I thought it was interesting because I hadn't noticed that they had a dead one. It's not that far. We know we can see it from our backyard. But I hadn't realized that, but it was really obvious at this point. So probably they knew that from last fall, as the leaves are coming out on like the different kind of trees that we have. There's a creek that runs through our backyard, or is the back line of our backyards. And get down just a little bit further then, so that you go down through those threads. Because there's different trees that line that creek, they come out at different times, and so it's just now that you can tell what is not coming out and is definitely dead. And it was kind of surprised me a little because I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely dead. Back stitch, let's go around this way. All right, and next, in my mind, as I'm stitching, I will sometimes think ahead to where I'm going to stitch next, like where the next leaf is, in case it would make more sense to go a different direction. For example, right here, I could jump down, finish this leaf, and then come back up and finish it. That would leave me with traveling twice this far, or I'll end up here on the tip, and that's a little further than I like to travel. So that's why right here, we're going to jump down to this spot, because that's actually a short jump, or a short travel. So if you are cutting your leaves with the dies, just cut the leaf that's closest to it. It's not that critical, the shape, the exact shape of the leaves here. What you have is just the sketch. For your pattern is just my sketch, and I modified them to be the leaves from my die collection. Okay, now the question is, do I want to go out or do I want to go in? One of them will jump that far, one of them will jump, I want to go out. So let's come out. This leaf, part of it is underneath the bloom, so when we're doing the center line, vein line, we're not going to want to start at the tip because it's underneath. So we're going to go out to here, because that distance from there, jumping back to right here to do a back stitch, is our shortest travel distance there. Now we can finish this leaf. Now, if I had not noticed that or been focusing on it, I would have just tied a knot, started a new one for that little leaf. It's not that big a deal. This project will not be, it's not going to have a batting behind it. It's going to be flat, but wool itself will still work for knots behind it. They're not that big of knot, so I'm not worried about that part. Okay, let's try. We have this one over here. He's kind of all alone, so we're going to go ahead and, now the bigger leaves, I wanted to do more veins on those two bigger ones, but the rest of these will do the same. So we need to split stitch down the middle. Now if I start at this end, I'll end up there, and then I can go around. Oh goodness, I think I turned it off. Okay. If I start at this end, I'll end up here and I can go around, and I think that's what I would prefer. Less traveling. Most of the time, those kinds of things happen, are like conversations that I have with myself almost instantly, because they're not things that make a difference in the long run. They're just little quirks. Okay, go down just past the end so we can do that split stitch. Come out just past, yeah, that little, there's my little, you have to hold still. And just past for the split back stitch, we'll go down right there. Okay. All right. I had someone, except I don't know how, I had someone ask me if they could, when these Stitch With Me events are held, so that they could attend them live. And right now, they aren't live. Mostly because it's a crazy, I started them in Maycember, as you may have heard it called, because I have, I still have a teenager at home, and so between the lacrosse banquet and the, I don't even remember all just the sports meeting, I think we were at the school over and over again, and because of that, and his schedule being, jumping around, I had not picked a morning or an evening or any time that I could commit to on a regular basis. And so it may take me till later this summer or until fall, when we can get back into a routine again, to pick a day that I can start doing them live. Would you be interested in that? Do you want to see them live? If you do, you can comment on the video. I think I see those comments. Or feel free to send me a message at info@threadsandmore.com. Spell out the "and", to get me some feedback on if you'd like to watch these live. Logistics, I'll have to get better at watching comments and watching what I'm doing in order to be able to do them live. Let's see. It occurs to me. Oh yeah, it's not dark. I didn't have my screen turned up. That's better. I was really worried that this was too dark for you to see. All right, we are getting down to the end of our thread, and while we could do something else with it, I think we're going to go ahead and tie our knot in the back, and we're going to use our cheat code to get our knot in the right place. So tie your knot, and remember, take your needle, go through the loop, and put your point down exactly where you want your knot to end up. And then if you pull, it will put your knot right in that spot. Isn't that amazing? I'm going to do another one just so I can show you. Okay, tie the knot with your, and if your needle is long enough to tie a knot, you can do that too. You can leave the needle on, it'll help it tie a knot a little quicker. Put your needle down right where you want that knot to be. How awesome is that? Okay, we need, oh, we have, you little wonky thing, you slip to the side. There we go. I can probably tweak it and get it to go back where it's supposed to be. Yeah, close enough. If not, I might take a wool applique thread. They don't teach you that when you're learning that you can tack anything down wherever you want it to be, and it doesn't matter. Make it do what you want it to do. You're the boss, and no one cares what the back looks like. So, yeah, if it won't stay where you want it to, tack it down. Use a thinner thread, a sewing thread, or a wool applique thread, and make them sit where you want them to. Okay, this one we're going to do that fly stitch. This is before the fly stitch starts. We need our first part of the vein, and then we will come out on the left, go down on the right, come to the base of the last vein stitch. There's our fly stitch. Again, add to the vein and then come out on the left, go down on the right. So, do you like to landscape? We haven't started. To be fair, we still have we have a pool going in the backyard once all the approvals go through, and because of that, they're going to have to drive on the rest of it that's where we would landscape. And so we are working on a sprinkling system plan because we live in Utah, where there is not enough rainfall to take care of that. Oh, you ornery little thing. So we have, okay, I don't want to lose him, so I'm going to take him off, and then we'll, let's back stitch around this guy too. So we're working on our sprinkling plan, but it really doesn't do us any good to dig or anything until we get all of that equipment back there, plus what they dig out for the pool will help us level some of the area around it. We raised the pool up just a little bit because our backyard, is higher by our house than it is as it goes towards the creek. And so we'll want to level some of that. So we don't even have it level enough that we can start until we get our pool done. But I've been thinking about it going, okay, do you like to work outside in your yard? Do you like taking care of your yard? Or do you like a landscape that is pretty, handles itself? You don't have to mess with much. I'm not one of those people who likes to be out working in the yard every day. I grew up working in the yard every day all summer long, either in the farm part, but also usually in the garden. We usually did time in the garden very regularly. We grew a large garden, and yeah, we usually had some time hoeing or something every day, and that's not my favorite thing to do. I like stitching better. Okay, is that too far of a jump to go to there? No, I don't think so. Let's jump to here. This one will also have veins on it. And then the last two will go back to the other kind. So I'm looking at, but I I don't love vegetables. Okay. I'm limited in what vegetables I'm not too ornery to eat. Wow, you're finding out lots about me today. So I don't, but my husband likes some. He loves asparagus, and so I would like to do um, a little, a little bit of container gardening, because I'm hopeful that that will be less trouble with the weeds. But he would like, asparagus is one of his favorites. That it's not that you can't get it at the grocery store, you can, but I feel like it doesn't have near as much flavor as when it's as when it grows. Okay, I live in an area where it grows on the sides of the road out where our old home was, and people would drive by on Saturdays often, just driving around looking for it, but they don't think about the fact that we kind of farm it even though it's on the sides of the road, so we need it trimmed neatly so it'll grow back. And anyway, that stuff tastes better than what you can get at the grocery store, so I'm hopeful for that to be in a container garden. And then berries. I love berries, and it doesn't stop me from buying them in the store year round, but they taste so much better when they are homegrown. So before we found out we were moving, I got some big container gardens, like 2 feet wide by 8 feet long or 10 feet long or something. And then I got them put together. They're a corrugated metal. Anyway, I got them assembled, but then that was about the time we found out we were moving. And I was like, we are not planting anything in those because I don't want them full and not movable. So right now they're just parked behind my house till we can get more of our landscaping done. But I was hoping to put asparagus in one and blueberries in one. I know blueberries require very acidic soil, and even the water that we have around here is not very conducive to growing blueberries. It's hard to grow blueberries around here in the ground. So it's like a 4-foot round thing that I wanted to put a blueberry bush in, and then the others I wanted to do strawberry and raspberry, because those are my favorites. All right, let's see. Let's go all the way down to this side. Yeah, this is long enough. Let's do 2 stitches in the middle of that one. So yeah, I like the oatmeal. The drawback of the oatmeal is it's not as tightly woven as some of the other wools, and so there's a little trickiness involved in it, but that has not stopped me from using it. I love it. So there will be, in this set that goes with the pumpkin that you saw me stitching on the other day, there are 4 parts, and the pumpkin was on that waffle weave cream, and that's also a looser one. And then there are 2 of them on this oatmeal, and then 1 is on a sage green. Sage green one is a tighter weave, but the others are all looser weaves. So, okay, back stitch around this side. In case you're wondering and you're thinking, you know what, she must stitch all day long. No, she doesn't get to stitch all day long. Sometimes the stitch with me is the only stitching that I do for that day. Okay, I'm gonna try to finish this with the thread that I've got. I don't think there's quite enough. Let's see. Yeah, I probably will quit after this and then do another strand to do the back stitching, because back stitching requires 3. Oh, and we have to add this little guy in. Okay. All right. That's my old-fashioned way of doing. My old way of getting the knot in the right spot is to pull this side till it's in the right spot. Cover it with your finger while you pull, and that holds it in place. But I really like that needle method. Okay, let's see. Here's another one of those. Decisions about where to start and stop. I need to do a back stitch all the way around this one, so I will start and stop in the same place. If I do it down here, then coming back and putting that missing leaf on. Whoops, that's where I said I didn't want to start. Let's try that again. Did I not tie a knot in the end of it? I did not tie a knot in the end of it. There we go. I want to start and stop at the top because that'll put me close to the next one I need to do. Right there. Okay. I'm a little curious to go out there and see what they've been doing. They have a great big flat rock, like 4 feet, 5 feet by 5 feet maybe, and it looks to be about 8 to 10 inches. The vibe that our HOA said that they wanted, there's only 7 homes in our HOA. The vibe that they said that they wanted was rustic, sort of woodsy. It's interesting because it's not that they haven't allowed other things, they certainly have, but you had to have wood somewhere on the outside of your house. Beams needed to figure prominently into the front of your house. And their landscaping next door I'm curious to see where they'll end up putting the grass, because they took their flat land and made it all hilly and rocks and more foresty looking trees, less trees that are, I don't know, I think of them as apple trees, little round on top. Yeah, these are more what you see when you go to California Adventure. Okay, where did I put the little leaf? There he is. Okay, and his skinny end is supposed to go down, and his fatter end is supposed to go up. And he is supposed to stay put. Let's try using the tip of the iron, because it's not that much bigger than that, and see if I can get it hot enough to get him to stay while we stitch him on. Oh, you can't even see me working on him? Oh, he needs to go up. There he is, right there. So I'm using the tip, hoping I can get him hot enough to stick. Okay. Now, let's put one right down the middle while he's warm and still staying put. Let's do that. Now we want the split stitch back stitch, so we'll go up here to the tip, and we need to go just past where that last stitch was and into the threads. I'm careful where I'm putting it, because as I put my needle down, my needle will slide to one side or the other of the pearl cotton, and that gives us a crooked line, and it needs to go right down in the middle. Okay, there we go. Now let's go around him. This is a soft surface. I mean, my fleece is a soft surface, but now I'm doing it on a pillow of wool here. You can see how much I like the oatmeal that I have. Just a yard of it sitting here. I think I'll tack down that white flour before I put it away. Okay, again with the part where if you don't like where the thread is, remember you can tack it down where you want. Just tack it down with threads that aren't as noticeable, thinner threads. Okay, there they are. There's my scissors. Now, not too high. Further this way. There we go. Now let's pull the pin. And iron that. I don't know, again, if this isn't the best ironing board because it's like 6 layers of wool. So I might just need to use the tip of my iron where I can press it down. Get it warm enough to warm up the glue on the back of that. Okay. All right. Thank you for joining me for this stitch with me. I'll see you next time.